Let's see here.
And
Oh,
view on YouTube. Why is it not fucking doing anything? You're live.
that's great. Let's see here. So we are live. Trying to look at the comments here. And then my flag's already come down. Hashtag professional. Hashtag professional. See who we got so far. Billy Cole the second. Billy Cole the second. Sorry. Um, let's see. We got DJ David. Um, NASCAR Vol. Atypical Gump. Superfan, aka the GOAT. Fireball. Pigskin Pete. Sup? Celine's favorite glitter gator loves BVD. It should be loves ACP Carter tonight. Make that happen, please. Dwayne RTR. Mr. DJ David 20. I'm sorry, man. Knows Pelini. All right. So we've already got a few people in here. So what's everybody's thoughts on the draft? I know most everybody in here has got an NFL team, just like they got a college team. Of course, I like the Titans. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I mean, I really wasn't all that excited about the Titans draft one little bit. Kevin Stokes, Catfish, know you're moonlighting? Yeah, he knows. I called and asked for permission. No, I didn't ask for permission. All about the U83. That's my boy right there. You drinking one for us tonight, Scott? Yeah, NASCAR, I was too. Mainly, I was kind of surprised about Taylor, and sorry about that. Uh, yeah, we had two guys get drafted. Tennessee did. We had Darrell Taylor, obviously, in the second round, 48th pick, the Seahawks. And then Jennings was in the damn seventh round. I don't even remember the number. Doesn't really matter at that point. I guess I was a little shocked that he went that late in the seventh round. I was thinking fifth. I knew his speed killed him, or his combine 40 just destroyed him. Yeah, okay. Titans did great things getting to the AFC Championship. They did. I was proud for them. But see, you got to understand, for me, I wasn't like all jumping around. I'm gonna kill this light for now. That's for when it gets dark. Uh, it's blinding me. Uh, I wasn't that. I just didn't really act like I was a big Titans fan because I haven't really been keeping up with them all last season, and there were so many fans in Tennessee or just Titans fans in general that just jumped on that bandwagon, and they were the biggest Titans fans you ever met in your life. And I mean, they just Johnny come latelys and all that. Thank you, Celine. Celine's favorite glitter gator loves ACP Carter. Don't tell BVD. Well, BVD is listening, and so what I want to do now is, now that we got everybody in here, we're gonna start having some people join me. If y'all want to, anybody wants to join, go ahead, BVD, put that link down, and we'll bring them in. What's up, Balls for Life? Balls for Life. I was telling Keith BVD the other day that me and you've actually met each other. We met each other in Jacksonville. Uh, he didn't even know that because it was me and Gator Boo, yeah, and you met us there, so you can confirm that. But there's the link. Bring them in. I don't care who they are. And yes, I'm smoking. Smoking is required to work for BBD TV. You have to smoke. Sorry. The Eagles are dumb. Yeah, a little bit. They are a little dumb. And I'm sorry that I keep looking away from the camera, but I'm having to read the comments on a tablet here. So, sorry about that. It's not like I got a script or something. Didn't want anybody thinking I was making all this up. Obviously, I'm not. Or, obviously, I'm not reading a script. The amount of Titans fans in the playoffs was ridiculous. Yeah, it was. It was really ridiculous. Because the Titans fan base is, let's be honest, it's not that great. It's never been that great. And that's sad. We've Nashville's a big city. Nashville's a very uh, passionate town. It's got. I love Nashville. Love it. It's one of my favorite places. And the Predators, the Preds fans are they're rabid, man. You can ask any NHL, like a fan of a big team like the Blackhawks or the Habs or whoever, they'll tell you that going to Smashville is just like going to any other big time, Canadian team, Northern team. It's that way. So you would think that Titans would be kind of the same, but they're not. I mean, I've been into so many Titans games where there was more fans of the opposing team than Titans fans before. I've seen it happen multiple times. Hashtag professional with the flag. It's being held up by duct tape. It just scared the piss out of me because it rubbed my neck. All 13 Titans fans care. Yeah, I know. There's a few in here. Came to be like you, all about the U. The Miami. Well, you don't even like the Dolphins. Hell, you only like the Hurricanes. You don't even care. But that's the good thing about Miami, man. If I was a Miami Hurricane fan, I would literally just watch the Hurricanes like you do because there are so many and have been so many great NFL players just from the University of Miami. Pick your team. I guarantee you there's multiple Hurricanes on it. Maybe not as much as there was in the early 2000s or the 90s, but there's a lot. Still this day, I do believe. Get in here. Huh. Can I come talk? Okay. Yeah, get in here. I don't care who it is. Trolls, whatever. No big deal to me. All about you. Click the link. All about you. Get your drunk ass in here. I bet you're halfway through a bottle of Johnny Walker. It'll be entertaining. Yeah. This is the stuff BBD sends you. He sends you props and stuff. He's a professional, guys. I'm telling you. Raiders won the draft. Yeah. No trolls allowed. I'd like to still have a channel after this experiment. Oh, it's going great. Chill out. Bauman, what do you think about the Hawaii kid? Christy's in here. Hey, Christy. Dennis Wilson, thanks for tuning in. I'm not BVD, obviously. If some of y'all didn't realize, if you thought BVD was going to be here, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm not BVD. I'm just BVD's son. And this is we're just going to try and do it with me tonight. It's the first time I've ever done a live stream by myself. So we'll see how it goes. I don't think it's going too bad. Hot Rod signed with the Colts. I was wondering that because that was something me and BVD were just talking about a few minutes ago was did he get signed, and I couldn't. I looked and I was like, no, I don't think so. Oh, well, sorry to disappoint you, Pete. The Falcons drafted a punter. The Falcons need to draft a new fan base. Let's see. Thank you, Superfan, a.k.a. the GOAT. That's right. So, I'm not going to talk about how many players the SEC had. I'll talk about individual schools. I know LSU had 14 total, and I can't remember if that's a record. I know it's not a first. The first round record, I think, is 6, held by All About the U's Miami Hurricanes. I do believe, and I know they had 5, so they got close, but they didn't break the record. Let's see. Yeah, Sleet is always holding it down. Yeah. It's all about you, Carter. That's right. It is all about me. I'm being selfish. Who we got in here? All about the U. What is up?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Okay. I didn't want to be the first one to come in there. I want to give a Tennessee fan or an SEC fan their chance to kind of say what they wanted to say.
Dude, it don't
But
matter on
I
this
know
channel.
Well, I mean, still, I wanted to give somebody. I didn't want to be the first fucking guy in here, but I gave it a couple minutes. Nobody kind of hopped in, so I said, you know what? Fuck it.
Good way to break the ice, brother. I appreciate you.
Oh, no problem. I know Fireball, Fire Kane, whatever the fuck his fucking name was. You had a wide receiver drafted. Listen, that may be the standard for Tennessee football, just getting one player drafted. That's not the standard here at Miami. When you come from greatness, when you come from amazing shit, that's the way it is. Tennessee's beaten us. We've been great. I'm not going to sit here and deny that.
2
Because
out of 3.
BVD, Carter, Bilford Vols, Rondo, Shania Twain ball fan will come in this shit and say, you know what? I'm gonna beat my motherfucking dick to Shania Twain, and I'm gonna say, go Vols, baby. But
Man.
I had to throw that in there. I'm sorry. But
I got a new football.
I got a new football. Shania Twain rubbed her pussy against it, and then she shit it all over it, much like Tennessee's been in the SEC.
Oh man, you're just dogging my team here.
Oh, dude, listen, there's BVD was nice enough to come into the live stream I did earlier. If there's one fan base who can understand what Miami has been through, at least the past decade, it's Tennessee.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not going to sit here and deny that.
It's a miracle. I mean, obviously we don't go to bowl games every year, unfortunately. Hopefully that's going to change. But I've like dreamt about another Miami Tennessee game, and I've always been like, it's got to be in a bowl game, and maybe it'll happen soon.
Well, I mean, at this point, is it going to be the Dollar General Bowl? Is it going to be
Dollar Tree?
The Dollar Tree, Dollar General, the last Walmart checkout lane bowl, some newly created bowl that nobody gives a shit about. I mean,
would you agree there's too many bowls? I'd say there is. Way too many.
There is vastly too many bowl games. Yeah. Cut that shit in half, and then we're good.
Absolutely.
Say, if you have 6 wins, you don't deserve to go to a bowl game. So
no.
7 for some of these programs, I can admit that, but 6, no.
Yeah, I mean, if you, yeah, exactly, because growing up, even in the 90s, there wasn't that many bowl games. Just going 6-5 didn't cut it. Usually, you had to do a little bit better than that.
When you get to a point on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, there's like 8 fucking bowl games, too fucking many.
I agree.
But that's the age we live in. That's the age that's going to be. There's coming a point now with the COVID-19 or coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. That is further exceeding the fact that the Power 5 teams will step away from the NCAA and create their own fucking conference, which is a godsend. I'm not going to deny about that. But
which a lot of people don't know this, Scott. I know we've talked about it in the past, but we don't have to have the NCAA. I mean,
you don't.
We don't. No,
you don't.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Well, I mean, to my knowledge, and I'm just speaking from what I can remember right now. I think Oni Kuno was the first one to kind of sit there, whether it was on Uvu, old school shit right there. Yeah. Whether it was that or YouTube or anything else, like he was the first one to kind of say, hey, there's significant talk that this shit can happen. And I'm sorry to those fans who may be watching this video now or 6 months from now or a year from now, the Boise States of the world, the UABs of the world, the Appalachian States of the world, the Boise States, you may think you matter, but you don't.
No.
You really don't. It's going to come down to you if it's either big boy football or you don't matter. And I'll gladly sit here and say this live. If Miami does not do what needs to be done, Miami could be a program that gets cut.
Holy shit.
If it came to nut cutting time and they say, listen, we we can only pick 2 programs in Florida who matter. If you look on past history in the past 10 years, that's Florida State and Florida.
Yeah.
Gladly admit that.
Yeah.
But-
And that sucks. And that's sad.
Well, I mean,
Well, I mean, hell-
it's either you care about football or you don't.
Yeah. And Miami's attendance and stuff like that doesn't help. It can't.
Well, people are going to make jokes about Miami's attendance from now till the end of time.
Of course.
Even when we were at our greatest, there were still games where the stadium was half empty. The 2001 team, the greatest team ever, which is a fact, by the way. Fuck any and other team who says they're better than us. Sorry, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes team is the GOAT. Fuck your team if you disagree. Fuck your player if you disagree. Y'all ain't shit. We were the best. Even then, the stadium wasn't sold out year in and year out. Miami will, in these major cities, no one will truly come out and sell every single game. I'm sorry, with all due respect. With all due respect. Gainesville, in a national scheme of things, you don't mean shit. Tallahassee, in the grand scheme of things, you don't mean shit. To a majority of others, I'm not going to name anybody else, Knoxville, y'all don't mean shit. You can't compare any of the above to my.
Well, I kind of cut out there. I don't know if that's on my end. Or not.
I said I cut out. But in case anyone who didn't hear what I said, this is a Tennessee thing. Knoxville compared to Miami, you don't mean shit.
You're right. I mean, Miami's like the 5th biggest city in the country. But here's the thing. Have you not noticed how many programs that are in big cities have terrible attendance? I mean, even Vanderbilt with Nashville, it's private school, but Miami's private school, I think.
It is a private school, yes.
But the thing about Miami that I've never understood is not just the Hurricanes. Probably the Hurricanes have it better than the Dolphins, but even the Dolphins don't get the support. The Heat don't get the support. The Panthers definitely don't get the support. Even the Marlins don't get the support. And we got a Clemson fan here, Pigskin Pete's in the house.
Holy
Can you hear
shit,
me?
an
I can't hear you.
ACT team? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear him, Scott?
Yeah, I can hear him just fine.
Can you hear us, Pete?
I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I can't hear you at all.
Yeah, so Pete can't hear us.
All right, there you go. I can hear you now.
All right, good.
I
did
can't
for a
hear
second.
Pete.
Hashtag professional over here. Hey, look at this. Look at it. BVD TV. Hashtag professional. Hashtag professional over here.
Wow.
I can't hear a goddamn thing. I heard you for
can't-
2 seconds.
What
Get
about
your shit
now?
together, man. Come on, get your shit together, Carter.
Wait, we don't have.
Why?
I heard you for 2 seconds.
Now it's echoing. Can you hear us now,
Hmm.
Pete? Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now?
I can hear you when I take my headphones out, but then it's going to reverb over the microphone.
Well,
So-
who has the technical problem?
Carter, what is going wrong on your fucking end?
Hey, I got a producer.
I
in the
am on
back.
my phone. There
You're
is zero
fired.
possibility that's my problem.
You're fired,
Look.
BBD.
All right, listen here.
Now there's a 4th person. Oh, BBD's back.
Listen here.
Well, everybody.
Everybody
I'd
be
like to
quiet.
introduce my
Everybody be
producer,
quiet.
BBD.
Here.
Be quiet.
Yeah, be quiet.
Be
for a
quiet.
second. I'm gonna walk Pete through this.
Who's saying be quiet?
Be quiet.
Yeah, be quiet.
Be quiet.
I'm gonna walk Pete through this. Okay, Pete.
You know, walk Pete through this. All right, go ahead, walk me through it.
You should only be
Here's-
able to hear me now.
Hey, listen, here's the issue I have. Can you hear me first of all?
I can.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
All right, so here's the issue I have. You can hear me coming through the computer to the microphone, but I should be able to hear you through my headphones, and I can't.
Have you got your headphones plugged
No.
in? Where have you got your headphones
Uh,
plugged in?
What do you think, producer?
Listen, I've done these StreamYard things 100 times. I've never had this issue before. Yeah, my headphones are plugged into the computer. Hashtag professional. Hashtag professional. Over here with BBD. Hashtag professional. I'm just kidding.
I don't know what the hell the problem
He
is.
muted me
Everything's
just a
good on
second
this
ago.
end.
I think he's got all about you muted too.
Well, yeah, I was going to try and here. I'll unmute Scott. I was trying to talk. I was trying to talk to Pete because I didn't realize
It just wouldn't. It wouldn't be a BVD production if
Hey,
we
this is
didn't
a
have
Carter
something like this
production.
happen, guys. So
This
this
is a
is
Carter
Listen, how dare you mute my drunk ass? How dare you?
oh, somebody stick something in his mouth. My zipper's stuck.
Now, y'all go ahead and fix whatever you need to. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Now BVD's left. So does that mean
I'll be waiting
it's fixed?
over here. Let me know what to do.
Pete, can you hear us now? Not a good sign.
Pete, I can't hear you on my end.
So you can't? With the
I
team?
can hear Pete on my
Okay,
end.
you can. So me and you can hear him. He just can't hear us. Well, damn. What are you using over there, Pete? Some knockoff beats?
Clemson is South Carolina's bitch. Can you hear me, Pete?
Yeah, I heard that. That was the stupidest thing I've heard in my life. But
Okay,
here's what I'm
I'm just making sure you can
Here's
hear
what I'm
me.
gonna
So
do.
I'm just making sure.
I can hear you, but the people that are listening to me talk are hearing reverb because you're coming through my computer and my microphone's picking up what's coming on the computer. So I'm going to end my my session in here and reapply and see what happens.
Thank you, Pete.
Okay.
So there we go with that. Yeah, I mean, this is how it goes on BVD TV. I mean, you know,
Pete may just have his volume a little too high. If I,
you know, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, well, if you're getting the reverb, just cut your.
It shouldn't matter if everybody's got their headphones plugged in. I've got my headphones plugged in to the computer, so we're not having any echo problems, right?
I don't hear one.
Carter's got his headphones plugged in to his phone.
I will plug in my headphones just to make sure.
Thank you.
So that may have been the problem, but I don't know why we wouldn't have been having that problem before.
I wouldn't expect it to be on my phone, but I will do what I need to do. So
now let's try this again. Everything was cool, Pete, with us three.
All right. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So you three go ahead. I'll just sit here and listen.
All right. So Pete must not be able to hear us.
I'm still having the same issue.
Yep. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Hell, I don't understand. Everything's fine until Pete comes in.
You remember in the past when we used StreamYard, like if you had an extra like 3-4 people, there was always one person couldn't hear.
Well, let me get out of here then.
All right.
You know, Uvu never had this fucking problem.
Uvu never had this problem. That's right. Damn.
Oh, it's working.
It's working.
We're good. Yes.
And see, all it took was BVD to leave. That's all it took.
Hashtag professional.
Hashtag
BVD.
I'm sure everybody left by now after that debacle. And listen, it wasn't your fault, probably. Listen, I tell people all the time, it's a miracle that I could even put on a YouTube show at all because when I could barely turn a light switch on, let alone use a computer with microphones and webcams and shit. So it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Probably my fault, or it's the internet's fault. I don't know.
Well,
the internet is never to blame. Always blame someone else. So.
All right, so now that you guys can hear me and I can hear you, and the viewers aren't getting the reverb.
Exactly.
Who else am I talking to? All about the U83. Was that the one that said that South Carolina is Clemson's daddy?
South Carolina owns Clemson. I said it. And I said that just to get your attention, to be honest with you.
That doesn't get my attention. That puts up the red flag for tard alert. I mean, it's 70.
But hey, I got a response. That's all that matters.
All right, whatever response you got does not make sense. 72, 42, and 4. Clemson's got 26 conference championships and 3 national titles. What does South Carolina got? One conference championship in 1969 when every grown man in the country was over in Vietnam fighting in the jungle. They had cheerleaders out there on the team in 1969 for the South Carolina Gamecocks to win a conference championship. What you got? Go ahead, bring it to me.
You sounded a little salty with what I just said.
I wake up salty. I go to bed salty. What's your point?
Wow.
You be you.
I'm just messing with you, man. How you guys doing tonight?
Oh, you good, man. Like I said, I just wanted to give you something that could say, oh, I heard that shit. Fuck this shit. I'm gonna speak my opinion. Fuck that shit.
I mean, South Carolina hasn't.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, how frustrating was it? I mean, I guess we could kind of relate as Tennessee fans with Vanderbilt, but I mean, how frustrating was it when you were losing to South Carolina? Like, what was it, 5 years in a row?
Yeah, it lost to South Carolina 5 years in a row under Steve Spurrier when Steve Spurrier was the coach at South Carolina. And you know, ironically enough, that was early in Dabo's tenure there.
Yeah,
and yeah, there was a lot of Clemson fans. There's a lot of Clemson boosters, even a lot of Clemson alumni that wanted Dabo Swinney fired just for losing to South Carolina. But you know, the general consensus out there is that the large majority of the Clemson fan base wanted him fired after those 5 years. Hold on, my son's bothering me. Hold on,
it's all good, man. Well,
there was quite a mess that Dabo had to clean up after Bowden. So
yeah,
it was going to take at least a couple of seasons to turn that shit around.
Well, and two, you got to think. I mean, South Carolina had Steve Spurrier, so it's not like it was.
Well, I mean that, but the South Carolina fans, even with saying that, can say, you know, yeah, we had the superior name, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Right. Well, I mean, we can't even see. Thanks. Yeah, you're right, BBD. I am. I am your son. You don't forget that.
Wait, you're his son? When did that shit happen?
29 years ago.
29 years. Holy fuck. The last time Tennessee was nationally relevant. Holy shit.
Wow. I mean, 2001 is only 3 years, you know, after.
Hey, it's more recent than Tennessee.
Okay. Fair enough. But I just know that last time we played, what happened?
What happened the last time?
I don't know. I had amnesia that week.
You had amnesia that week.
All right, guys, I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
Anyway, what I was saying was the general consensus is that the vast majority of Clemson fans wanted Dabo Swinney fired after those 5 losses to South Carolina. But people like me, and honestly, the vast majority of the people I know, you know, and I know a very, very, you know, minute, minuscule, you know, section of the Clemson fan base. I get that, but I didn't really meet anybody that wanted them fired because Clemson, you got to understand, if you lived through the Bowden years, there was a lot of problems going on within the program. Bowden wasn't a bad coach, but he wasn't somebody that was really well liked in Clemson, honestly. And a lot, you know, some discipline problems, some academic problems going on at Clemson during that time. But so when Dabo Swinney took over, he was winning as many games or more than Bowden was his entire time there. He was recruiting better, which that's where it all starts. When you talk about teams like Tennessee, teams like Miami, these teams that are trying to, you know, break through and come up now, it all starts with recruiting, and it starts with the culture. And so Dabo Swinney was winning a lot of games, even though he was losing to South Carolina, and he was changing the culture there, and he was recruiting out of his mind. And so, you know, it took 5 years or so for him to really break through that door, but he was doing all the right things. So, yeah, I mean, losing the South Carolina 5 years in a row was probably actually one of the best things that could have happened to Clemson, you know, in hindsight.
Yeah. Well, and two, you know, Billy Cole just made a hell of a point. He said that South Carolina had 2 of the greatest college football coaches in Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier, and neither one of them really did anything. I mean, Spurrier did a lot better than Holtz, but
right,
that should tell you right there.
Yeah, and Steve Spurrier, listen, I'm a big fan of Steve Spurrier. I really am. I like him. He's one of my favorite coaches of all time. Lou Holtz, I'm not a big fan of Lou Holtz, quite honestly, but look, here's the reality, man. You know, South Carolina has been running around trying to, you know, snatch gold from the past. like a leprechaun. That's why they went and got Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz was, he was behind his time. He was, on the way to retirement when he came to South Carolina. Same thing with Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier is not a South Carolina guy. He could give a shit about South. He came to South Carolina for a multi-million-dollar paycheck, and so he could go play golf in Myrtle Beach every weekend. That's all he cared about. He's a Florida man. Yeah, he's
a Gator.
Yeah, he's a Gator. But anyway, and then Will Muschamp comes up from the swamp after an abysmal record there outside of 1 year. So anyway,
I'll say this as someone who's in the ACC. When Bowden was let go at Clemson and Sweeney was brought in, I thought it was just kind of this hire for a year or two, just kind of keep the recruiting going from what they were been at that given moment in time.
Right.
Personally, I view Sweeney. He's a great motivator. I think he's more cheerleader than motivator, but he has brought in a fantastic staff across the board that has really kind of impacted stuff well within the Carolinas, well within Florida, or anywhere else in the South. He's been that guy. I'm not going to sit here and disagree with that.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with it. Here's the thing. I disagree with part of it. First of all, when Sweeney got hired as the full-time head coach after being interim head coach, nobody knew what he was going to be. I mean, anybody that pretends like they think they did know that he was going to be great, they're lying. There's literally nobody in the country, including every Clemson fan, every analyst, everybody that followed college football year round. Nobody knew that this was going to happen. The reason he got the job, though, that's the important thing to look at here, because Terry Don Phillips, who was the athletic director at Clemson at that time during the transition when Bowden was gone and they were trying to figure out who was going to be the next head coach, Terry Don Phillips, he was in tune with the football players and with the football program. And Dabo Sweeney was a favorite among not only coaches but players. And he was the head recruiter at Clemson. He's the guy responsible for getting C.J. Spiller to come there. And so listen, at that time, Clemson, what Dabo Sweeney was doing, even though he wasn't even a coordinator, he was only a wide receivers coach, was recruiting way above his head. And he was going to Florida, and he was going to Georgia, and he was going to Tennessee and North Carolina and Virginia with Taj Boyd, these guys, and getting some of the best players in the Southeast to come to Clemson, who was an 8-4 team at best most years leading up to that point. And so that's why he ended up getting the head coaching job. But the only thing I would say that I disagree with you about that you said is that Dabo was more of a cheerleader and a motivator. And no, he's not. He's that on the surface, and that's what people think he is. He is a boss CEO. He's Bill Gates. All right. He's Steve Jobs. All right? Believe me, he comes off as a dumb redneck with the ho hum thing and this and that. This guy is in tune, and he knows what he's doing. He's got a mission. He put this whole thing together. And listen, there's not three teams in the country that wouldn't trade their head coach right now for Dabo Sweeney. Without a doubt. So we ask you about that. Okay.
Well, they're speaking as someone within the conference, to be honest with you. If you give me a pick between Urban Meyer and Dabo, I'm taking Meyer. That's just a personal choice. Not speaking for the whole country. But I have just one question for you. Speaking as a Clemson fan.
Would you pick Urban Meyer over Nick Saban? Shit, drop it.
Whew, that's a loaded question.
Wow, I don't know about that. I don't think I would.
I like Nick. I like Urban too. But if you're putting a gun to my head to say either you're right or you're dead, Nick would be my pick.
Oh, me too. Wouldn't have to put a gun to my head.
So what would be the reason? Just out of curiosity, I'm not saying you're wrong and it's your opinion, but just out of curiosity, what would be the reason that you would pick Saban over Meyer but not Sweeney over Meyer?
It would just come down to Meyer has been a success at Bowling Green. He's been a success at Utah. He's been a success about Utah. Like I'm not saying like Sweeney has been a massive success more than I could ever understood when the moment he was hired. I'm not going to deny that. But if you give me Sweeney or Meyer, that's my personal opinion, Meyer's my pick.
Okay.
I mean,
So-
I would love to hear.
okay. So let me with that. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
We all know there's a point in time where Saban will walk away from Alabama, and I think anybody with any football intelligence at all will say Sweeney's going to be the number one pick that Alabama brings in.
The number one.
What will Clemson bring that Alabama can't?
A legacy, something he built from the ground up.
A
not
legacy.
Chasing Nick Saban and Bear.
A legacy.
Not chasing Nick Saban and Bear Bryant. Legacy at Alabama. You got to understand, man. Dabo Swinney got fired from Alabama. Yeah, he went to school there. Yeah, he won a national championship there. He was a grad assistant and then an assistant coach there, and got fired. He got fired. He was so distraught about getting fired. He quit coaching football and started selling real estate. And then the next team that came knocking on their door was Tommy Bowden and the Clemson Tigers. He goes there as a wide receivers coach, gets promoted.
Correct.
Gets promoted to the head coach, has a rough go of it the first few years. The school stuck by him. He ended up building. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. Clemson's got a dynasty going on. I know they got their ass whooped by LSU right now. This year, Clemson is still, if not number one program in the country right now, they're 1B with Alabama, as far as the totality of things. So. Yeah, I think at this moment in time right now, I think LSU Tigers are in front of y'all as of this moment in time. And how is that possible? Clemson is
because they've won the national championship more recently than y'all have.
Clemson is the second winningest team over the past 10 years, sir. They've had more wins total. They've had more playoff appearances. They've had more wins. They've had more national championships. LSU, yeah, they had a great season. Nothing to take away. They deserve to win that national championship. But when's the last time LSU won a national championship? How many times?
Last fucking year.
No, before that. And how many?
2007.
And where's LSU been at for the past decade before last year?
Bama's bitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
True. Gladly admit that.
Yeah, Bama's bitch. That's right. Exactly. Guess who's not Bama's bitch? Clemson.
I know. I want to see what LSU can be without Joe Brady. I think no one can discredit Joe Brady from what he did at LSU. Am I at least somewhat agreed on
9-3?
All about the year. Why are you deflecting? First of all, you're talking about Clemson and Alabama and LSU and Ohio State and all these other teams. Where's Miami been at for the past 20 years, sir? You guys you never won the
I've never brought Miami in the situation. You're bringing that into this.
Yeah, I just did.
I never brought Miami into this statement at all. We've been underachieved well over a decade. I'll gladly admit that.
I know you didn't bring it into the conversation. I just did. So where they been at for the past 20 years?
Underachieving for well over a decade.
Well over a decade. Try 2 decades.
19 years ago, they didn't win a national championship.
Two decades. We won a national championship 2 decades ago, so you're incorrect in that statement.
All right. Whatever. 19 years ago. Good job.
Congrats to Clemson. I'm not going to sit here and disagree with that. You've been top dog in the ACC. You've been one of the top teams in the country. Not going to disagree with that.
Well, I think I don't know. One thing I will say, Pete, and you're probably not going to like this, but if with Florida State kind of doing bad, that's definitely made the ACC
go get
Joseph.
Carter. That's been no discredit what Clemson has done. I'm not going to sit here.
I'm not discrediting it at all. I'm not. I mean, Clemson's great. I mean, dude, I was cheering for them like when they were playing Bama every year. I was all Clemson. And if they play another SEC team besides my Vols, then I'll cheer for them then. But what I'm saying is, one thing that I do believe has helped Clemson is Florida State not being as good. So if Florida State gets back to being Florida State, then it's going to definitely make it harder.
Go ahead.
What's the reason that Florida State's not so good right now? I mean, other than the fact that Jimbo Fisher left there, but before Jimbo Fisher left there, Clemson was beating their pants off. They lost to Clemson 3 times in a row. Jimbo Fisher couldn't even win the ACC. He didn't have a backing as far as the athletic department for what he wanted to do, monetarily, money-wise. at Florida State. Clemson had surpassed them in facilities and recruiting, the whole thing over this past couple of years. And Jimbo Fisher's like, what am I doing here? I'm competing with Clemson in the same division, not even the same conference, in the same division. I'm not getting the backing that I want from the fan base or the boosters or the athletic department. I'm going to go to Texas A&M where they got endless oil money and see what I can do over there. So it wasn't – Clemson's success doesn't have anything to do with Florida State falling apart.
I never said it did.
The opposite is true. Clemson had a hand in running Jimbo Fisher out of there. Maybe it might not have been a major part of that, but it definitely had something to do with it.
Right. I mean, I definitely don't think that's Florida State being down is help Clemson or got Clemson successful, by no means. I'm just saying, really what I'm saying is I think it'll make the ACC obviously more competitive if Florida State's good again. It'll make, that's all I'm really saying. Right. Is y'all have had, I'll say this, y'all have had an easier road just in the ACC. But look, it hasn't really mattered because every single person, when y'all played Bama, it was like, oh, Clemson's going to get beat. They play in the ACC. They don't play nobody. They're going to get their ass whooped. I mean, every year. So, and y'all proved them wrong. What, 2 out of 3? So,
well, it's not just Alabama. I mean, they beat more top 10 teams in any conference. Whether it's in every conference. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and name off all the stats. Like, first of all, the hard argument with Clemson's got an easy road to the playoffs. I guess maybe they do. I'm not going to argue with that. They have an easier road than an Auburn would or an LSU or a lot of teams in the country, at least over the past couple of years anyway. But it doesn't matter. Like, here's the equation I always use. If Mike Tyson in his heyday, back in the 90s when he was the world champion, best fighter in the world, if he would have walked up on the street and punched some old lady in the face, does that make him any less of a badass fighter, right? Than if he went up and he fought George Foreman or he fought Evander Holyfield? No, it just means he punched an old lady in the face. And that's what Clemson's been doing for the past 5 years, is punching old ladies in the face. But it doesn't mean they're any less, great. I mean, and they proved that. So there's really not much of an argument as far as that goes. That's the equation I use because I'm an idiot.
Jeff Webster says,
hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to be the impartial person in this conversation.
All right.
Let you may make an argument that the ACC, Coastal and the other division for the most part is irrelevant. It is irrelevant because Clemson runs that shit. Let's be honest. Okay. I think that can be agreed on. But when it comes down between the SEC, the East is garbage.
Yes.
Outside of Georgia and Florida, no one truly fucking gives a shit. Same thing.
I would say that the East is at least as competitive or better than both of the divisions in the ACC. But in the grand scheme of things,
well, no, I'm just saying. Like, granted, Clemson a couple years ago lost to Syracuse.
Yeah,
it could be the same thing as far as Georgia losing to Vanderbilt a couple years ago. Correct?
Well, sure. If you're going to point out one game, and listen, look, dude. Me and you are on the same page. There's been no bigger defender of the ACC than me. All right, I think that they're way trashed more than they should be. I think they're a better conference than people think they are. But that's besides the point. If we're comparing the SEC East right now to either of the divisions in the ACC, there's not really a debate there. The SEC East is better than both those divisions right now.
Well, in the SEC,
I think that's subjective, to be honest with you.
All right, so name the teams in the ACC, Coastal, that are better than the teams in the SEC East. So you're looking at Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee,
Missouri, Vanderbilt, Kentucky.
That's a subjective basis year in, year out. If you want to talk about as far as
name 3 teams in the Coastal Division that are better than any of those teams I just named from the East.
In the Coastal,
other than maybe Vanderbilt and Tennessee. Sorry, Carter and BBD. But up until now, I'm not saying not this year or next year, but
8-5,
up until
bitches.
now,
8-5.
So you've got Miami. You've got Duke, you got Virginia Tech, right? Pitt, maybe. Which one of those teams that I just named?
I mean,
better
honestly,
than
if
any
you're
of those
giving me if you're giving me three, it's Miami, North Carolina, and Virginia Tech.
North Carolina. All right.
Whoa. What? Say those three teams again.
Miami, North Carolina, Virginia Tech.
Okay. Scott, I love you, brother. But, I mean.
Go ahead. Feel free to say what you got to say. Feel free to. Go ahead. Listen.
Tech.
You beat
you beat
NC State. I know that's a major stripe among your program. I understand that.
It was for BVD, but not for me.
Well, the majority of your fan base, it was.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I would say that North Carolina and Virginia, and not Virginia Tech, probably could compete with most teams in the East. Outside of that, I don't think Miami could compete with the East right now.
Well, look, all I know is I'm just going off. I know that this is we got a different coaching staff. I mean, hell. But, I mean, when's the last time we lost an ACC team? Tennessee.
When's the last time you played an ACC team?
Well,
2 years ago?
They played NC State.
That was in 2012. We beat Georgia Tech.
You beat Georgia Tech. Yeah, you did do that.
We beat Virginia Tech and we beat Virginia Tech and Bristol.
I'm just trying to get the point across.
So it's been 3 years.
The people who dump on the ACC as a whole. Granted, if you're playing in Alabama and LSU and Auburn every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, no matter what it is. Great, you're top dogs, great. But I'm tired of the conference as a whole being shitted on.
Yeah, dude, the Big 12 is a far worse conference than the ACC. I'll say it right now.
No, I think the Pac-12 is. I don't know about the Big 12.
Oh yeah, the Big 12. If you're not playing Oklahoma or Texas, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say the ACC because. And I'll say this, mainly because of Clemson. Oh, yeah, if it hadn't been for Clemson, then we wouldn't even be having this discussion. But
if you listen, outside of Alabama and LSU, as far as national championships are concerned, the SEC hasn't done shit either. In the past 10 years.
Well, they'll throw Auburn and Florida into that conversation.
Why. Okay, Auburn.
I said that
because they've won.
I said the past 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
My apologies.
So, which Auburn did win the 2010.
And Auburn did win that, so they got to give them that one golf clap.
And that's what I was going to say. LSU, I'm serious. LSU is going to be just like Auburn. I'm not going to say they're going to lose 9 games this coming year, but I think they're going to go 9-3. I really do. They had 14 players get drafted today, last 2 days.
If you were to put a bullet in my head to say either. Who's going to have a more successful season, LSU or Auburn? I'm picking LSU.
I'm picking Auburn. I'm picking Auburn in 2020. In 2020, I'm picking Auburn. LSU just lost more than half their starters to the NFL. And Joe Brady's gone. Now, I still think that Auburn's got a bunch of talent. I mean, LSU's got a bunch of talent. But listen, it's going to be – and this happens with most teams at the top, top 10 teams. You see a year on and a year that is usually lagging, unless you're there's only 3 or 4 teams in the country that aren't that way right now, the way that things are rolling with the coaching staffs and the recruiting, and that's Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson. For the most part, Oklahoma too, when it comes to the playoffs, but not so far as the defense. But LSU's going to have – listen, LSU's not winning anything next year. They probably won't beat Auburn. They probably won't beat Alabama. The chance to even win the West is probably less than 10%.
They're gonna have a hard time with Florida. I don't think they can beat Florida, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. So they'll have 3 or 4 losses, and that's not saying anything bad about LSU. That's saying how good the West is right now, and how when you lose that many players and one of your key coaches off of offense, there's going to be a year of a little bit of lag there. I think that's my opinion.
Yeah, well, I agree with that for the most part. I think, I don't know. I mean, I've been saying it since really, I don't know, January. I think Florida's the team to beat in the East for next year. That's my opinion.
I can right now name about 3 to 4 Georgia fans who would disagree with you right now.
That's okay. That is okay.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. The only thing I would say about that is that, Florida's knocking on the door there. I think they've got some stability now over the past couple of years with Mullen, and they're recruiting well and all that. But I still say that Georgia is just a better program than Florida is right now.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Doesn't mean that Florida can't, sneak one out of there, but probably, you know what, the winner of that game between Georgia and Florida is probably be the one that will represent the East in Atlanta.
I agree. I think Tennessee's
Mullen
gonna be the
will
dark
never
horse.
put Florida where their fans wish they would be.
No.
So.
We'll see. I think Tennessee's going to be the dark horse next year, and that's just, I mean, call me a homer, but I feel like,
dark horse.
yeah,
Dark horse.
yes, sir. Dark horse.
You will put money on that?
So you think you think we're going to finish worse than third? You think we're going to finish fourth, fifth, sixth?
Well, no, I just like Grant. I know BBD said in the grand scheme of things, your offense has a majority of starters coming back. Am I correct?
Yes, but there is one problem.
I think
what's that one problem?
Jarrett Guaranturdo.
I think that Tennessee could finish third in the East.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Who? Exactly. Oh, look, Oni Kuno's in the chat. The
Tennessee
hell is going on here?
Listen,
Bring Oni Kuno in here.
third in the East is going to come down to South Carolina and Tennessee, and I think Tennessee has as good a shot as South Carolina does at taking that spot.
Oh boy, right?
I mean, who else outside of that?
Hell, I think Kentucky has a better chance of South Carolina next year. That's just me.
Kentucky, they lost their quarterback, they lost their receiver.
No, they lost their receiver quarterback. You're right.
No, Missouri, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, they're all going to be not in the running. I think it's come down to Tennessee and South Carolina for the third spot.
Well,
I think South Carolina will be good next year. Granted, they've lost some key contributors on defense, but winning the SEC East,
No, I said third place. I'm not talking about winning it.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm talking behind Georgia and Florida.
Well, yeah, okay.
I do not.
Yeah, like Georgia should win the East next year. Now, we've said that shit for well over a decade. I think everybody can agree with that as of right now.
I like Georgia next year. I like Jamie Newman. I like what they're doing on defense. So I just think, above all, I think Georgia's just got more, more studs on both sides of the ball than Florida.
I like Jamie too. I just don't buy into Kirby Smart.
I don't buy into Kirby Smart either, but I buy into Kirby Smart more than I do Dan Mullen. I mean, what has Dan Mullen done in his career as a head coach over a decade?
He became the number one team for 1 week in the BCS. That's all that matters.
How many?
He coached Dak Prescott. Damn it!
How many division titles does he have?
Big goose egg.
Yeah. How many conference titles does he have?
Big goose egg.
How many times does he beat Georgia in the East?
And
that's why I don't buy into Florida as a program who matters in the state of Florida.
And believe it or not, Mississippi State has won the West. I don't know if y'all know that, but they have won the West.
Not with Dan Mullen, they did.
No, exactly. It was not with Dan Mullen. Whose dog is
it? Was what was it? 96,
98.
It's my dog. He's got asthma. Leave him alone.
It was 1998, actually, Scott, and we played him in the SEC championship game.
Oh well, I mean, back in the SEC was total garbage, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, you shut up.
All right, listen, Carter.
T. Martin is a god.
Carter,
yes,
I gotta get off, and I'm sure there's some other people that want to come on anyway.
Absolutely, thank you, Pete. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, hey, listen, I had a great time, Carter. You're doing a great job, great show, BBD. # professional, BBD TV. # professional, and also it was good talking to you. Is he still there?
Yeah, all about the
I'm sorry.
U83.
Yeah, all about the U, man. It's good talking to you too.
Hey, you need to sub him up, man. He
You
does
too,
live
sir.
streams and he makes videos for Miami.
I will. I definitely will. That's the first thing I'm going to do when I get off right now. I'm going to go sub him up.
I got you, man.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy.
See ya. Anybody else wants to come in here and argue with this drunk Miami fan? Come on in.
You just got to throw that drunk shit in that. You just had to fucking do that shit.
So are we drinking Johnny Walker tonight?
No, I've not drunk. Okay. I have not drank Johnny Walker in a while. So I've not even drank whiskey tonight, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm picturing you right now on your big, beautiful back deck, smoking a big cigar, and you know,
I have not been on a beautiful back deck with a cigar since October of last year.
Oh wow! About the time when Miami season ended, I got you.
Well, I mean, that's the last time, Tennessee had a win that mattered. So
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get one.
that
Second week
shit
of the
will
year.
that
Second week
shit
of the
will
year.
change. About a month from now, there'll be familiar background that most of you are used to. That shit will change. So
Yes,
But,
Jerry, I have been to the Jack Daniels distillery, and I'm sorry. I feel bad because I haven't been answering some of the comments. Sorry
answer
about that.
every one of the bitches.
Yo,
Oh, look who's in here, Oni Kuno.
I want to talk to your Clemson friend. He seemed like he was a lot of fun to scream at or whatever Scott was doing or you were doing.
Yeah, that's Pigskin Pete. He makes videos, and he has a pretty good channel, popular channel, believe it or not.
He like, and I this comes off as a backhanded compliment, of course, but like he looked like he was a rational, intelligent Clemson fan.
He's definitely not Savage Tiger or Brazzy B.
Well, yeah, like those are the two I have to base.
How dare you say rational? Fuck you, Oni.
Okay, listen, most college football fans are not rational, period. Like we're all irrational human beings in here, even someone such as myself. But just based on the few minutes I heard, it sounded like you'd be a fun guy to debate with.
A good question in the comments.
Are you up? Yes. Like your video is up? You are upside down to me in this thing. Am I crazy?
I am.
You are fine on my end, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, but here, let me give me one.
But here's a question, Scott, and I'm gonna say yes, but who asked it? Damn it! Oh wait, where'd it go?
If it's not Steve Devisor, I don't care.
It was not Steve Devisor. I haven't seen that crazy fucking.
Damn it!
Somebody asked, "Is Miami an all-time elite program?" And I will say yes, but if it does, I think if it doesn't get better, then it's
okay. I'll say this: if we're talking about national fucking shit since the dawn of college football, just to put that point out here right now, Miami is not a top 10 program. I think anybody with half a brain can fucking say that.
Well,
shit.
That's true. I didn't think about the before 1983, so you're right.
Here's the thing. I think you could apply that to all three of the big Florida schools. Like they didn't all rise to power. Yeah, they all rose to power almost at the same time, pretty much. Like Florida State, Miami.
Now, if you want to talk 1980 to now,
sure.
Okay, you can throw Miami and Florida State both into that argument.
I would say that out of the three Florida schools, I mean, it's going to be closer. I don't know. I'd give it to Miami, I guess.
Oni, our college football encyclopedia will give how he feels. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, like I would put. I remember like whenever there's always like there's the 8 schools that everyone generally puts in like the ultimate.
If you throw Notre Dame in that shit, fuck you.
What?
But Notre Dame have to.
Well, I kind of have to because Notre Dame.
No one gives a shit about nobody in Carter's live stream gives a fuck about Notre Dame.
That is true.
Okay, but like, there's a lot of teams in this top 8 that I hate, including Notre Dame. But they're
okay. Let me be politically correct. Fuck Notre Dame. Fuck Harvard. Fuck Yale.
I'm not putting Harvard and Yale in there. Like,
knowing you, Mr. Encyclopedia, you would.
Notre Dame is ingrained in pop culture, which is way more annoying than
okay.
Being good.
So let me be correct, right? Fuck Notre Dame.
I'm not disagreeing with that
fuck
sentiment.
Penn State. Fuck Michigan.
Listen. No, first of all, Penn State's not on my list. Second of all,
how dare you? They rate fucking children to get wins. How dare you?
Oh my god.
Let's not go there.
Even hope Indy Sean doesn't come in here.
Oh no, but the thing I hold against Notre Dame personally is they blatantly stole our "Play Like a Champion Today" sign, and for whatever reason, just the rest of the college football world just acknowledges that it's their thing. Lou Holtz installed that sign in 1986, and at Oklahoma, we have video evidence to prove we had it in the late 40s. Notre Dame didn't have shit. Anything before 1986. The year they won the national championship in 85, they had the sign above that they slapped going in to beat Penn State. And it's like, play like Don Creaky's on Play Like a Champion Today, a tradition at Oklahoma. And all of a sudden, it's like, God, it belongs to Notre Dame as of the next year. So
Scott had to. Well, I think BVD removed him, and the only reason why is he said cussing is fine, but using that word will get my shit taken down. What I don't even know what word it was, but
I apologize, Keith. I'm sorry.
is there? I don't know what word is this.
What's the word I can't say?
I think you think about rape.
Okay, I got you. I was more making a comment just for shock factor, but that's okay.
Oh, well.
Christy
anyway.
says, Lord, you have mercy. This guy doesn't have an inside voice.
This guy lives in the Panhandle. He's probably outside right now, so that's.
He lives in the red.
I am not outside. I am back in my fucking tree fort. Fuck you.
All right.
How's the Keebler Elves doing?
The Keebler Elf gave up on Notre Dame and any historically football program that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Oh.
So, am I continuing my 8
Go ahead, Oni. Sorry.
In no particular order. To me, like the 8 are Notre Dame, Bama, USC, Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska, Michigan, Ohio State.
Okay. Oni. With that said, we're gonna switch from college football to pro football.
Wait a minute.
Oni Kuno is an Oklahoma fan, just so y'all know.
I just got here.
No, we're gonna change shit.
Wait a minute. Since when did
I want you to
wait a minute? Since when did any of you two give?
We'll
a crap
change it
about,
if I say we change it. How about that?
Oh, but why do you?
Okay.
Give a crap.
Okay, so live here on YouTube, I want you
BBD TV.
to admit that Barry Switzer would have never won anything that matters in the NFL after Jimmy Johnson.
Ooh.
Someone had to coach that team. They couldn't coach themselves.
My left nut could have coached that team and won a Super Bowl championship.
Well, now hang on. Maybe it would have taken both of your nuts. You know,
No, I would take my left nut because in the grand scheme of things, Barry Switzer was nothing in the NFL.
I am going to quote Barry himself saying that he's like, yeah, I won with them, but I could have lost with them too, and he still put another ring on the fingers of those 90s Cowboys.
And guess what? Larry Brown and Neil O'Donnell was the MVP of that Super Bowl.
I remember watching that game, and it was like
I did too.
That guy got 2 picks, and the Cowboys.
And he got what 12 million the next season.
Yeah, he Cowboys weren't willing to pay him that much money, and this is right around the time when salary caps were. It was just before that if it was going to happen. So yeah, Jerry was able just to pay whoever he wanted, but man, just the one thing I will say is that the ability to scout and draft players was no one could touch Jimmy Johnson because he changed the league. What he did,
and within that fact, as of to this day, right now, the Miami Hurricanes college football program
Is dead.
Oklahoma.
Oh,
I mean, I guess, but would you rather be where Oklahoma is right now or where Miami is right now?
Listen, I've had amnesia the past 5 years, so I don't know.
5? Wait, 5? 5?
yeah.
5? You want to go a little longer than that? More like 15.
I just love talking to Oni and shit like this because
Of course.
I would gladly admit Oni Kuno's video after we lost to Virginia Tech, that Mud Bowl beat down.
Oh God,
that was the first video I discovered.
That was one of the very few last times I ever had an adult beverage on purpose. Because
how dare you have an adult beverage without asking me first? How dare you?
I was looking forward to going to that game, and because I wanted to see it. Because I'll tell you what, the last 3 times I've been at that stadium in person, I am 0-3. and I hate that place. I hate that building with
Jeff-
the
Well,
passion.
I mean,
Jeff Webster.
you are our bitch. So
Jeff Webster, this is okay. Let me just go ahead and name everyone in here. Oni Kuno is an Oklahoma fan. All About the UA3 is obviously a Miami fan. And
say drunken Miami fan. At least get it
drunken
right.
Miami fan. And this is, I mean, okay, so far this is sounding just like an old Uvu conversation, is it not?
That's why we love this shit.
Yeah,
Man,
exactly.
Uvu hasn't existed in like a decade. at this
Why
point.
don't we do this on y'all's
Much
channel?
much like the Miami Hurricane football program. So
My channel, I had a stream for the first round, so it's not like y'all
Yeah.
can come join.
That's true. Oh, okay. So since this is majority, well, I don't know about majority, but there's a lot of Tennessee fans in here. So real quick, Oni Kuno, Oklahoma fan, Tennessee game hopefully will happen this year. Go ahead and just tell us, be completely honest, like you've always been with me and everyone, what's going to happen.
I've been told by another colleague of yours or associate, Bill for Balls, about the offensive line of Tennessee.
who?
And that's fine and good that you're into your offensive line. I think that's great. It's not going to matter because Spencer Rattler is going to carve up your defense all night. So
Would you say that okay? So would you say though, with Oklahoma having a new quarterback, a freshman quarterback, do you think Tennessee's got more of a chance than we did in 2014?
we had a young quarterback. When we came into your building, who only had his second start at Oklahoma, and he was very inexperienced, and he had a pretty good fourth quarter and overtime. So
That's true.
pretty good.
So
that's-
only speaking as an outside perspective. Obviously,
Okay.
CC Lamb has gone on to
CC Lamb.
Dallas. CD Lamb, excuse me. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
Hasselwood has torn his ACL. At least that's what it seems.
That's being
I'm
reported.
sorry that shit happened. I don't want to see anybody.
That's being reported by grown-ups I trust, and not some random poster on message boards to say I saw him ride a bicycle on campus today.
Well, I can see him do jumping jacks and doesn't mean shit.
Yeah. All right. So to answer your question about receivers, I'm guessing that's where you're getting at. Theo Weiss.
No. I'm just saying in the grand scheme of things, whether the season starts in August or it starts in October or it starts in January. What is your minimum expectation?
Oh, win the Big 12 and get back to the playoff.
Motherfucker, are you high?
What? Hang on a second.
Texas runs the Big 12. You know that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. My bad. What was I thinking? I forgot that they were back. You know,
they have been back as many times as Miami has been back.
which
ain't saying much.
Sam Ellinger is on his 19th year of eligibility at Texas, and he's going to come back.
Fuck.
He's going to lead. Am I an anime fan? Yes. I'm a huge dork. So if you follow me on Twitter, about 10% of my tweets are about what the hell I'm watching.
Well, hell, look at your picture right now in this thing. It's anime.
That's not from anime. That's from the critic.
That is the critic. Fuck you, Carter.
I'm sorry, I'm not as old as you guys.
That's from the critic.
Old bastards.
Yeah.
How dare you disrespect a historical greatness that the critic is?
Okay.
Yeah, it was that other show that James L. Brooks made along with The Simpsons.
So do you have any concerns about Rattler?
No,
Rattler.
If Rattler had gotten a full off season the year before,
Bust.
I would have gladly wanted him to start at quarterback because
Bust.
I hate Jalen Hurts so much.
Bust.
Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts did everything he could to lose football games in the second half. From the Texas
Jalen
game
Hurts
onward,
is the greatest quarterback Oklahoma will ever produce.
I truly believe that Jalen Hurts was a spy sent by Alabama.
Spencer Rattler is a bitch
to screw with the program, and I don't like Jalen Hurts.
Adrian Peterson is a bitch.
Theory.
Okay, now you would have taken him at the U in a heartbeat, so hush.
I mean, I don't know in the grand scheme of things. Clinton Portis, Edgerrin
Edgerrin
James,
James.
Frank
Adrian
Gore,
Peters-
Willis
Adrian-
McGahee,
Adrian-
Moorhead.
Adrian
Go ahead.
Adrian Peterson is in the top 5 of all-time rushing leaders in NFL history, and is going to wear a gold jacket.
In NFL history, I will take 1 over 4.
Ooh, Jeff
Listen.
Webster says Oklahoma losing to Iowa State, OK State, and K State this year.
I mean, it's I mean, to be wrong 3 times. Is
Now,
pretty impressive.
I'll give Oni this. Was that pre-Bob Stoops or post-Bob Stoops?
What do you mean? What was what?
Any kind of loss in that shit. Like, let's be honest. I know Bob Stoops won a natty. That's great.
Yeah, those are kind of important.
Yeah.
It is. But if gun to your head, in the grand scheme of things now in the future, gun to your head, you either right or you're dead. Bob Stoops or Lincoln Riley.
BVD's right. This
That's
is a UV reunion.
Wait a minute, you can't say that right now.
Yes, I can. I can do whatever the fuck I want to.
I love Riley. Riley has brought resurgence to
Riley has made your program more nationally relevant right now.
Nationally relevant.
Oh yeah, the last 10 years, sure. I agree. Bob got stale. Bob got a little lazy and bored. He rehired his brother when he should have gotten some fresh blood to coach the defense, and that
he should have hired Mike
Stoops
from Temple.
Okay, look, Mike Stoops cost us a national championship with Baker Mayfield.
How dare you?
Baker Mayfield, that 2017 offense for Oklahoma, 9 of those guys on offense were drafted. And drafted high. I'm talking you got Baker, Hollywood Brown,
Samaje,
Mark Andrews. No, Samaje was on there. Samaje was the year before. Rodney Anderson had a monster game. Orlando Brown on that O-line.
Speaking of the NFL right now, bust, positive player, bust.
Wait, who's a bust? Wait, who's a bust again?
Anybody whose name is not Mark Andrews or Joe.
Whoa! Hollywood Brown's a bust? What?
Who?
You've lost your goddamn mind.
All we need is a Florida State fan in here, and we'll have the 98, 99, 2000, and 2001 national champions in here.
Wait. Florida State won national championship in 2000?
99.
You know what? If Miami was not incorrectly put out of that shit, we'd have won that shit if we hadn't lost to Washington.
Yeah, you know what Oklahoma didn't do? Lose a game in that season, so it's not their fault.
I said that shit. If we hadn't lost to Washington, that shit would have happened.
Basically, it was a 3-way. It was a 3-way. People think it was a 2-team race. It was really a 3-team race because Washington only had 1 loss as well, and they had just as much a claim to that spot as Miami and Florida State. So as far as I'm concerned, it was like
It's not gay if it's in a 3-way with a chick in the middle.
But Miami did get a pretty good consolation prize for not playing the national championship. I mean, you got to play Florida, and you beat them.
That's saying the same thing as anybody who wins a division title.
Well, I'll tell you what. I recently, because we're all in quarantine, we got nothing to do. I went back and watched because I have access to a lot of these old college game days as well as for that season. The talk about Florida State beating Oklahoma in that game because they were a double-digit favorite. The talk about Miami getting a split national title was so nauseating. And just when you know the result of that game and you hear it's all they could talk about because Oklahoma that year went through Texas, who was top 10, destroyed them, went on the road and beat Kansas State, who was number 2, came home and beat Nebraska, who was number 1 with Eric Crouch at quarterback. And then they had to go to Kyle Field to beat which was not an easy place to play, no matter what season you go to, beat A&M. Then they got to beat Kansas State again. And they still, we just don't know enough about Oklahoma.
That's the link, Keith. Post the link.
That's the equivalent of I relate to Auburn in that 2010 season almost, where everyone just assumes that, Auburn's going to drop a game even though they're winning, they're undefeated, and then, but because they had kind of a similar. They had a rough time with Clemson early on. They had a close game with South Carolina in the regular season. Then, of course, there was the epic comeback game. But yeah, I kind of those teams, with the exception of like the superstar, bigger than life quarterback Cam Newton. I mean, Heupel was nice and all, but he wasn't like a epic NFL guy. But
yeah, I hate to cut the Uvu reunion short, but other people want to come in, so all about you. I'm going to let you go, and Kuno,
How
you stay
dare
here
you.
for a little bit.
How fucking dare you?
You'll be
bye, Scott. I'll talk to you later, Scott.
See you in your stream. I appreciate you coming on, though, Scott. I really did, man. It was awesome.
No, the fuck you, dog. If you appreciate it, you would have cut me out
shit.
this shit right now.
Well, I
Come
mean,
back when you're sober.
well, there's other people waiting to come in, so if they don't come in, then you come back.
What's sober? I mean, that's the same thing as saying that Eric Crouch is relevant in college football.
Oh, man.
No, I understand, Carter. I just want to give you shit. I understand.
Oh, dude, I'm glad you came in, man. I appreciate it. You helped me get through this thing. So,
got you. Go ahead.
Thank you. All right, man. So, I don't know if there is anybody in waiting, but somebody click the link. Don't care who you are, as long as you're not a troll. Or, well, trolls are welcome too, I guess. I don't know. And I guess me and you'll hold it down until someone else comes. Kuno.
I guess.
I don't know. I just keep thinking that if Tennessee, 2014, that team was really, bad. But the problem is, I'll say it, I'm concerned about the quarterback situation in Tennessee. I'm just going to say it, if Jarrett Garantano is the starter, I really don't feel good about going into Norman at all. At all. Not saying that, I think we're going to just – I'm not saying you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean –
Thank you, Shane Bentley, for the super chat.
I like the direction you guys are going, to be perfectly honest. I think you had to go through 19 different head coaching hires due to the craziness that went down with getting who eventually you got. But I do think you're heading in a positive direction. Until you guys have you have to have somewhat of a transcendent quarterback, especially if you're in the SEC. And if you don't have that, and I know people are going to roll their eyes when I say this, but take away the Peach Bowl. I was really, really impressed with the progress that Oklahoma made on defense last year. I'm saying this, and listen, I hated the defense under Mike Stoops. Alex Grinch came in, and I'm talking about simple. We were making plays on defense, like getting into the backfield, tackles for loss, a sack here and there, things that were not happening under Mike Stoops. Now, did we force enough turnovers? No. We didn't even come close, but we got 3 and outs and forced punts, and it was a miracle. And their defensive rankings were like at the top 20, 25. That's not normal for Oklahoma defenses lately. So, and that LSU
not normal
team,
Big 12 defenses.
Yeah, and it's like that LSU team was going to carve up anybody they played.
Oh, and they did.
They carved up Clemson and they carved up us. So it didn't really matter. I love Brent Venables, but even having Brent Venables still wouldn't have made a difference.
I guess here's the thing. Here's the problem that I'm worried about as a Tennessee fan. And I think most people should be too. Real quick, though, Shane Bentley, and once again, thanks for the super chat. He says, "Hey there, BVD. I see you've got some new commentators. Hope all is well, bud. Be curious to see what your thoughts on how Tennessee did in the draft, but as always, go Dogs." Well, I'm not BVD, but I will say we only had 2 players drafted. Second-round draft pick to the Seahawks, 48th pick was Darrell Taylor, and then Juwan Jennings went in the 7th round to San Francisco 49ers. But my biggest concerns are, like I said about quarterback, I don't have any confidence in JG. Maybe you can prove me wrong. I've been saying that for years. And 2, let's say that our freshman, Superman, Harrison Bailey, we got to put him basically his first big start on the road in Norman, Oklahoma. Yeah, and that's not going to be an easy environment for a true freshman. So,
well, you say that, but you're assuming there'll be fans in the stands. So,
that's true.
I mean, that's something a lot of people are thinking about. If they do end up playing these games and there's no people in the stands, what the hell is home field advantage? What does that matter? It's like y'all might as well play out in a park somewhere.
Yeah, play in the practice facility.
Yeah, just rope it off. Like I don't know why you can play you obviously play the stadium so like camera crews can be there and everything, but it's going to be
a high school field.
I've been talking to some people about, for whatever reason, if the season doesn't happen in any shape or form. I mean, if they can't do it in the fall, they can't do it in the spring for whatever reason, there's going to be a lot of schools that are either going to have to drop football or they're going to have to drop down to FCS or maybe even Division II. Because the number one conference to worry about is the Sun Belt.
Oh,
Appalachian State might be dropping back to FCS like pretty soon, because they've been an FBS team for only a few years now.
Yeah. Looks like somebody joined us. Who is that?
I
can't read their name.
I guess you have the comments up and I can't see names.
Yeah.
What's it for?
Oh, it's the general. It's my buddy, the general. I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, but go ahead, General. Say something.
I heard you talking about the quarterback situation, which is why I wanted to join real quick. I'll let you go in a second. But there's one solution to that quarterback situation that you're talking about. His name's JT Daniels.
Okay.
If they can land JT Daniels, which
from USC, right?
Yeah, many people think they can. That's a quarterback with experience, a quarterback with talent. He was a former 5-star. He's had a little bit of injury problems, but if he's ready to go, that eliminates the problem with experience. That eliminates the problem with talent that we have with JG. It's the best of both worlds, really, because Harrison Bailey is talented, but he doesn't have experience. Jarrett Garantano has experience, but he's not talented. JT Daniels has both. So if they can land him, their quarterback room's already crowded, but that would eliminate two problems.
Now, hang on. As an Oklahoma fan, I can speak to experience. The transfer quarterbacks just don't work, all right? So you don't want to go down that road.
I
mean, but you really weren't happy with
Hurts? No.
Yeah.
No, because he kept turning the damn ball over. So you can show me numbers and look at the numbers and how similar they are. It astounds me that there are grown men on national television saying what a great idea it was to draft Jalen Hurts in the second round, especially for a team who gave an extension to a starting quarterback who's not losing his job anytime soon. And then they're alluding to that. Well, Carson Wentz gets hurt all the time, so he could be the best. I was like, excuse me? Did you watch last year? And the other thing I love is like, well, he could be a Taysom Hill type of player. And it's like, wait, you're drafting a guy in the second round who only got a handful of snaps last year? That's your comparison? It's like, I understand if your franchise doesn't have a quarterback. I can at least buy that argument. I still think you're wrong.
Right.
But I just – it's like I watched every snap last year. The first one's in person. And he's too loosey-goosey with the football. He carries it like a loaf of bread. You can't trust him with it. He has terrible pocket presence. He makes one read and runs. He can't do that in the NFL. It's not going to work.
No. I agree with you on that for sure. What you going to say, Luke?
I saw EDP's reaction to it. I didn't pay attention to the mock draft, so I don't know where he was expected to go. But EDP, he lost his mind. They broke poor EDP. And after everything
oh, no.
I mean, that was awful.
Like, it was worse than, like, Giants fans getting mad about Daniel Jones, I bet.
Yeah.
He at first, he just picked the hat or threw off his hat and started screaming, like, what the F? But and then after a while, it was just sad. He went up to the camera, and it looked like he'd gone crazy. He just kept on saying, I hate you, mother effers. I hate you. It was sad, to be honest.
He's the gift that keeps on giving, man.
And look, Oklahoma's going to hype him up, and they're going to talk about all the great things, and the first team to have 3 straight quarterbacks within the first 2 rounds, first time ever since '67. But there's a bunch of great things you can throw out there for recruiting reasons. I understand that. I get that. I'm not going to hold that against Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma, whatever. But when you go up 21-0 on TCU and almost lose the game, when you go up 3 touchdowns on Iowa State in the fourth quarter, and you almost lose the game. That's not on the defense because Jalen Hurts was turning the ball over in their own territory or throwing pick sixes at the goal line going 99 yards back. So
sounds like you're describing JG, to be honest.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, but he got all the hype. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that he was so beloved at Alabama, and I'm not hating on Alabama fans for loving him. Love him all you want. Like he's your boy. I completely understand that. However, I don't have that attachment to him like you do, so I can hate on him all I want.
So. I mean, that's a weird thing with the grad transfer. We haven't really. I mean, we've had grad transfers, but we've never really had one that was just larger than life. I mean, it was a big thing. Really. I mean, we've had just regular transfers like Alvin Kamara, and but yeah, it's kind of. I don't know how I would feel about that if you had a guy just for 1 year, or really how I would feel if you had someone who was a big contributor to your team for 3 years, and then all of a sudden he's going to play for another team. Like I don't know.
I mean, Russell Wilson did it.
Yeah, that's right.
Russell Wilson was at NC State forever, but people remember him taking Wisconsin to the Rose Bowl. Yeah, and so. I mean, so there are examples of that, but the rules are different now where guys, as of right now, guys can one-time transfer to anywhere they want to go. No restrictions, nothing. So if you were afraid of college football, quote-unquote, free agency, it's here. So if someone's not happy, they can go wherever they want. There's none of this, I'm blocking you from SEC, I'm blocking you from Big 12 or Big 10. Nope. You can go wherever you want if there's a spot for you.
Yeah, Luke, you probably remember, or you know better than me. Did we have anybody? We didn't have anybody transfer, did we, at the end of the season?
At the end of the season, not that I'm. Let me think real quick. No, they had Joe Doyle transfer, who's the backup punter.
Yeah, that's
really,
right.
That was no major players transferred.
Heard about that. Joe Ryder says, Carter, I have heard that nobody likes Jalen Hurd. Have heard about that at all? Oh, okay. Well, you got to understand, though, Jalen Hurd doesn't really like us. I mean, he doesn't really have anything good to say about Tennessee, and that's sad because of the whole situation. But, Monday Night Football, he says Baylor. And not only that, but which I think he was there for 2 years, though, too. So,
God, that's right. He did come to Baylor. Forgot about that.
And he did very well at Baylor as a tight end. Did really good. And he did good at Tennessee as a running back, but he just never here's the problem with all that. Alvin Kamara should have been the number 1 back. He should have been the number 1 back.
God,
he was so underutilized.
It is criminal how awesome he is for the Saints right now. And watching highlights, like he was on the team that we beat in Knoxville. God damn.
Yeah, and that's all Butch Jones, way to go.
Yeah.
And that's
what shocks me though is when you think about who he had in front of Alvin Kamara. When you remember that it's Jalen Hurd, remember the reason why he transferred, Carter? It was because he wanted to play wide receiver. You were playing somebody ahead of Alvin Kamara who did not even want to be playing that position. It was absurd.
Yeah, and it's a miracle that Alvin Kamara even, has any kind of love for Tennessee, because at first I don't think he did, but he's come around and but I mean he does say Monday Night Football, University of Tennessee, but I think there was a little while where he just kind of didn't really have anything nice to say until Butch was fired. And it's like as soon as Butch Jones left, it's like he kind of like, well, okay, I forgive you, Tennessee, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really blame him.
I mean, yeah. I mean, his entire career at Tennessee, he was playing behind somebody that wanted to be a wide receiver. It was criminal. He obviously was the most talented running back on the team, and Jones, for whatever reason, decided to keep him down the depth chart. It's ridiculous, and he's not the only one. Look at all of the Tennessee players that on NFL rosters that just were nothing. With Emmanuel Mosley comes to mind.
Justin Coleman comes to mind too.
Yeah, there's tons of players on Butch Jones' roster that were just buried on depth charts under the depth chart that broke out in the NFL. It's ridiculous. It shows you how terrible Butch Jones was.
Mm-hmm.
So Carter, what's your all's? I mean,
expectations.
Well, assuming things were normal, we weren't in COVID land. I'm just kind of browsing at your schedule, and to me, eight of your games are very I would put in your favor immediately.
Yeah.
Like at least eight. The ones that are in question obviously are OU, Florida,
Georgia, Bama.
Yeah,
that's it.
I would favor against Missouri, Carolina.
We draw Arkansas this year. Thank God. It's better than.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I wish I say this every year, and I will pound the table every time. I wish the SEC would start playing 9 conference games.
Yeah.
To get the schedules a little more even, because you now I know it's a rivalry, and you wouldn't change it for the world, but you all have to play Alabama every year, and everyone in the East doesn't. So, and that's been a guaranteed L for you, just because of the way things are right now.
Absolutely, it has.
It would be nice if you could get Ole Miss or Mississippi State as a duo one year.
Yeah.
just to help you all your wins losses out.
I mean, that I don't think it'll they'll ever do that, but but it is hard playing Bama every year because of how good they are. I mean, it'd be great but that's just kind of how that damn series has been. Since the beginning of time. It's streaky for one. It's really hard to go back and find a back and forth thing. It's either
there's never really been a stretch where both schools were good at the same time. Maybe the I don't know, early 90s maybe.
Early 90s, yeah, but then you got to think when Tennessee started to take off, Bama was going down. Gene Stallings, I think his last year was 95, which is when we ended that streak against them. And then it went on from there. But I was just going to read a quick comment real quick. What did it say about Kamara? Oh, Kamara did play. I know he did play Fireball. I mean, I know that. He had 300 yards against A&M. But the thing is, what I'm saying is he was second string behind Jalen Hurd when he should have been the first string. And then when Jalen Hurd left, John Kelly got more carries.
God.
I'm thinking, what the hell?
That 2016 year for y'all was so fun it was fun to watch, but y'all just kept piling up those injuries, and
it was an emotional roller coaster for us, buddy.
I had so much fun watching y'all in 2016. So that A&M game is a classic, and it's just it sucks. I was like, man, Tennessee's you get the big miracle Jawan Jennings catch, and
I'll never forget the Florida game because you were the first person to congratulate me.
Oh, I was?
Yeah.
I was happy for you. Man.
You and Ben Marine.
I was like, finally, you broke the goddamn curse.
Exactly.
Finally over. And then they have a miracle catch against you the next year. And which is
earlier, when I think it was right after Scott left, and I was out talking to you about, us playing each other, hopefully this year, if everything goes well. You were saying, well, I think you guys need to do this. And I wanted to say so bad, how many times have me and you had this conversation?
Oh, just about
Tennessee,
Oh, just I think Tennessee will get better if they do X, Y, and Z, and it's been happening since for 10 years, basically. Exactly. Because the problem is you could have those same conversations, and it's because unfortunately it's just you're in that. It's we were in a slump for about 10 years in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
From 89 to 98, it was the first couple of years we didn't know we were in a slump. We thought it was going to be temporary, and then shit got worse and worse and worse. And
that's when K-State was shining.
Oh, K-State! Colorado won a championship.
Yeah, they did. That's right.
Kansas State was a national power. What the fuck? And then Nebraska won 3 out of 4. And like I thankfully, because of YouTube and guys like digging through their VHS collections and turning them into digital, and I thank God YouTube doesn't take down college football games, because you can upload all the college football you want. NFL games will get taken down like that, but like you can upload all the college football games on YouTube you want. So it's like a treasure trove. So, and I download them as soon as I find them, because you never know when the day is going to come where someone says, "Uh-oh, we're going to take all those down," and you don't have access to them anymore. But
Exactly.
but watching some of those '90s teams, it's like there were a few flashes here and there. There's a few players that were great, but like it was nowhere near enough.
Exactly.
It's like, oh god.
I know exactly. I mean, shit, I know exactly how you feel, and it's hard because, I mean, you grew up in the Oklahoma. When you grew up with Oklahoma, they were pretty dominant, right?
Well, I was a little kid in the mid '80s,
Right.
so like my earliest memory was watching like that Penn State Orange Bowl. Like I didn't understand. I just like my earliest memory is watching that. Was watching Jamel Hallway throw a 71-yard touchdown pass to Keith Jackson, which was a big deal because Oklahoma doesn't throw the football in 1985 because they were a wishbone team. And I remember seeing Boz like jumping up and down and hugging Jamel Holloway.
Still my favorite 30 for 30.
Yeah. The Boz?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oklahoma is in a lot of 30 for 30s. They make a lot of cameos and other people's 30 for 30s.
Well, I mean, because the Tennessee ones are more like SEC storied. So,
well, yeah, SEC story, but like the Boz, you got SMU. Barry Switzer makes a cameo in there.
The U part 2.
Oh yeah, we're in the U part 1, of course. Ugh,
Post the link, Keith. Augusta Gator, you need to get your ass in here, or if anybody else wants to come in. But I think. They're not making the 30 for 30s anymore, right?
No, they still are. What do you think the Jordan thing is?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, then that's great. By the way, that is.
I am looking forward to parts 3 and 4 tomorrow night.
Yes,
I got a couple more things I got to do for my class assignments tomorrow, so I got to make sure I get that shit done before 9:00, or else I will never get it done.
Are you still going to the? I mean, I'm not trying to pull out your business, but are you still getting into broadcasting and all that?
Yeah, I'm actually about a week or 2 away from getting my bachelor's.
Nice. That's at the one I see on TV all the time, isn't it? The Dan Patrick.
Yeah, I'm like about a week and a half away from getting my bachelor's.
That is awesome.
I should have had it already. I would have had it already if I'd gone to the hospital. But either way, it just I'm about. It feels surreal. Because it's like, I'm at home doing like all these important assignments from home, and it feels like I should be in the studio on campus doing stuff, but it is what it is. But I'm looking forward to it. So
well,
I was gonna have a gig in Blacksburg, but that's not happening now for obvious reasons.
Oh, Blacksburg, Virginia, home of the Hokies.
Yeah, I was going to potentially host a radio show.
Nance Carval wants to know what school, if you want to tell him.
Oh, Full Sail. Yeah, Full Sail.
Full Sail University.
Yeah, Full Sail.
And that's the Dan Patrick
program
it's Dan Patrick, or something.
Yeah, the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting.
That's awesome.
It's a pretty awesome program if you can get into it. There's a lot of guys there. There's a lot of it's mostly TV based stuff, but you learn a lot. They teach you everything for every possible gig you can get. If you're going to be a PA, a production assistant, they get you ready for that. If you're going to be an on-camera guy, definitely they get you all ready for that. But there's a lot of guys who go through that program who kind of poo-poo the behind-the-scenes stuff, or they don't take it seriously enough, and they don't try to get better at video editing or any technical stuff. And
which is right up your alley.
I mean, I'm good enough. Let me put it that way. I'm not the best. I'm nowhere near, because I've met. No, dude. I met some guys who blow my shit away.
Okay.
And I love, because like I suck. Like I can edit video. I suck at Photoshop. Photoshop is not my thing.
Well, the thing is, I just remember all those great. I mean, I know most of y'all probably aren't Oklahoma fans in here. But if you want to see some damn good like hype videos and stuff, I mean, this guy. Do you still have him on your channel?
Yeah, I got all my hype videos are on my channel.
Yeah,
still.
I thought so. I mean, there's some really good stuff, and there's some comedy in there too. But I got to answer a question real quick. Joe Ryder 84 says, Carter, do you think that Greg Schiano wasn't wasn't hired due to the ties to Sandusky total. Could you name another reason why he wasn't hired besides the Penn State? Okay, so the reason why he wasn't hired at Tennessee is because our fan base freaked the F out when he was pretty much named.
I have 2 words. Clay Travis.
Travis, exactly. Clay Travis. I mean, it was totally, there was they almost formed a lynch mob, or they were going to. I'm sure.
Bill was part of the lynch mob. He was there.
Yeah.
I saw him on goddamn television, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And
Wait, did you really see him on television?
Yes, I saw Bill. I recognize that Super Mario Luigi looking motherfucker anywhere. All right, you kidding me?
Oh my god!
I screamed at Bill over Twitter. So what the fuck are you doing down there? It's like, Greg. And listen, I'm not here to tell you that Greg Schiano was going to be the end all be all or save your program. Farthest thing from it. My issue is that his connection to the whole Penn State thing is so far removed.
Yeah, it was very minimal.
So, like, it was the perfect, and Bill would never admit this, but it was the perfect excuse to get out of that hiring. And like, I have no problem with saying this is a shitty hire. I don't want this guy to be our head coach. If more people just said that, I'd respect you more. But they went for the excuse of saying this guy is responsible for a child predator running loose. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to accept that, ruining a man's reputation who will never get a job in the business again because of what Clay Travis did. So
he's actually the head coach at Rutgers right now.
Right.
Yeah. So, but at the time, what I meant was at the time, it's like his reputation was like being driven through the mud, and so it was
that
just
kind of made us look bad too. I mean, that hurt us. I mean, I understand. It kind of hurt us in the long run. I mean, you think you had Kirk Herbstreit jumping on us. I mean, the media really just was talking bad about us.
Yeah, at the time, yeah, but I think it wasn't the program. It was more of the people. More guys were pissed at Clay Travis than they were at Tennessee.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Well, Carter, I'm actually going to disagree with you a little bit on that. I think it hurt Tennessee short term, obviously, but long term, obviously, you got the better coach in Jeremy Pruitt, in my view at least. So, I mean, it helped you long term because you got the better coach.
Here's what I'll say.
The bad media coverage obviously hurts you.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll say to that. I guess here's my thing with any coach, and I just because of how it's we've been doing. I bought into Kiffin when he was hired, and all that. But I'm at where Tennessee's at, and where I'm at personally. I am at wait and see. I like Coach Jeremy Pruitt. I trust him. I want him to succeed. I want him to be here for 20, 30 years, and I want him to turn this damn thing around. But right now, I'm at wait and see mode to see how he does.
I mean, you got a top 10 recruiting class, so I mean, you're not hurting that.
Much. I'm happy with him right now. Okay, I'm happy. I'm okay with. I mean, I'm good with what he's done. I just hope he can continue to do more. So, and he has. I mean, like I said, I am all aboard the Pruitt train or whatever you want to say. I just, I'm just kind of waiting and seeing. Because I just feel like we've been burnt a time or two. And I'm not trying to compare him to Butch Jones or anything. But lastly, what helped more than anything, because, I mean, you got to think, after all that crap, I mean, our fans were in turmoil, man. They were just, I mean, it was messed up. But when Philip Fulmer is what saved it. Philip Fulmer came in and, hired Jeremy Pruitt. And had that hell of a damn press conference when he hired him. And
nobody had to be in a hospital bed, potentially dying for him to save the program.
Exactly. Okay.
See, it took you a second.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, well, Carter, here's the thing, though, about Pruitt. Now, obviously, I think everyone's in wait-and-see mode. Nobody's fully convinced that he's going to be Urban Meyer or anything like that. Right. But I think he's already surpassed what Greg Schiano would have been with the turnaround. You can't in your right mind say that Greg Schiano would have been able to have the turnaround that Tennessee had this year. If they started with loss to Georgia State BYU, Florida, and Georgia sitting at 1-4, they probably would have finished 2-10 or 3-9. There was no way in hell they would have finished 8-5. Greg Schiano is just not going to turn that around. I'm not saying that Jeremy Pruitt will be the most successful coach ever, not at all. I'm saying that he's already surpassed what Greg Schiano would have been.
But how do you know that? Because how long has Greg Schiano been at Rutgers now?
Well, he was there before, and he had a losing season in all but one
He
of his years.
He did. Okay, so that's okay.
And
That's
he finished
fair.
with a losing record.
That's fair. But I guess I'm just, I guess here's the thing. If okay, let's just play what ifs for just a second.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah, devil's advocate. All right, at Rutgers, let's say he does decent, does good for Rutgers standards. And then let's say, I don't know, for the hell of it, let's say South Carolina gets rid of Muschamp in a few years, and they think, oh, Greg Schiano, I think he's going to be a good coach. And they hire Greg Schiano, and then Greg, I guess my question is, what if, he comes in and he's a great coach?
Well, I mean, you could do this till the end of time.
I know. I'm just saying. Okay, well, I guess I need to back it up and say, but what if this time at Rutgers he does amazing and, ends up somehow winning a national title with freaking Rutgers? Then I wonder, what will Tennessee fans say then?
No, well, that's fine, but that's fine. I'd feel happy for him, but you can't predict the future. Looking at what his coaching career was like at the time, he was terrible in Tampa Bay. He was terrible at Rutgers for all except for one season. He was a terrible coach. And I'm with Oni Kuno. You cannot trash the man because of the Sandusky thing, but you can trash him because he was a terrible coach.
That's true.
When the riots were going on, I didn't say a word about Sandusky, but I did I talk about how terrible of a coach he was. Yeah. I think even if you wouldn't have used the Sandusky stuff, Tennessee still would have had to back out because of what the fans were saying. His approval rating would probably be like 2% of the fan base just to start with, and you can't start that low. You have to have positive momentum when you make a hire. So just based on that alone, absolutely not. Second, I think if Curry would have lowered the expectations a little bit and actually been a sane, rational human being and came out and said that John Gruden was not a viable option, I think we could be having a different conversation right now.
Yeah, because that hurt.
Fans were expecting John Gruden.
Oh, yeah.
And you handed them Greg freaking Schiano.
That's true.
That's like promising to take your kid to Disneyland and driving him down to Chuck E. Cheese. It's just a terrible.
Hang on. Chuck E. Cheese got video games and cheap pizza, so let's not get carried away here. It's more going to Disney and ending up at one of those tourist traps on that's like ended up at Holy Land on International Drive, the Jesus theme park. Actually, I think that closed down too. But no, like y'all
get it.
Yeah, but y'all last year y'all came out, you stubbed your toe the first 2 weeks, and obviously you can look back and say what if. But as far as I'm concerned, y'all were a 10-win football team last year. The teams you lost to for legitimately, like for real, like were the ones like frankly you should have lost to, and like Florida, Georgia, Bama. No disrespect, but y'all were pretty much a 10-win football team. And if you build on that and you don't stub your toe against, teams like that again, then, I think you'll be on the right track. But eventually you got to break through and you got to get one of those three. You got to beat one of those three teams. You got to get a monumental win that catapults you. And, which I think you can at some point. It's got to be Georgia or Bama. Florida, well, Florida's a weird spot. I don't know what to think about Florida.
Yeah,
we'll take any of them.
that is true.
Next year, the expectation for most Tennessee fans, Carter, I think you're in this camp too, is win all the games you're supposed to and beat one of the big four, being Oklahoma, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia.
Well, that's not. You get to remove us.
Yeah. Well, if Tennessee was able to beat one of those teams and then wins, let's say all but one of the games they're supposed to win, then it would be a successful season. Now, a couple of years down the road, then I would start to agree with you where you have to start consistently beating one of Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. But right now, we're just not at that point. Butch Jones left us in ruins, like complete and total ruins.
I agree.
Worst season in Tennessee history.
I agree. He did. I mean, and there's no denying that. You're absolutely right, Luke. And let's see.
You need to get you need to get a 5-star quarterback, and you need to.
Well, I think we got we do.
Yeah, we got one.
Okay.
Bailey.
We need to transfer the mind of BVD into his body. That way, his passion for Tennessee Volunteer football will lead you all to victory each and every game. Like just that passion alone with a 5-star.
BVD hasn't been the passionate one though, Kuno.
Yeah, he's lost his passion.
Well, I would argue otherwise because that man continuously makes videos year in year out with Tennessee sucking so much.
That is true. That's one thing, and it's like joining the TTC for me, even though it's no longer a thing. Like I joined at the worst time, and it was horrible. I mean, I had fun, but we sucked. And BVD, it's been like that ever since he started in 2009. Okay, what did we do? We went 7-6 in 2009, had a losing season every year after that until 2014. So then he had a break, 2014, 7-6, 2015, 9-4, 2016, 9-4, and then right back to 4-8, which is the worst year we've ever had. So yeah, I mean BVD, you got to commend them.
So let me ask you this. So with this, I'm assuming you're on board with the offensive line, like other people have told me, right?
I mean, I think our O-line's gonna be pretty damn good. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So what's stopping Harrison Bailey from taking that spot?
What worries me is, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, all right, because Jarrett Garantano he's been the starter for a while now. He's got the experience, but and one thing I worry about is if they think, well, look, I want it to be if JG is the best quarterback we got, then that's why he needs to start. But that's the only way he needs to start. Not because we owe it to him, not because he's a senior or none of that crap. I mean, that can't be the reasons why. If he is clearly the best we have, then play him.
Yeah, and Carter, it's not going to be that reason because we both know he's just not going to be the best quarterback. He's not going to give us the best opportunity to win games. It's not going to be him. He's going to start because he's got the most experience. And that's my problem because Jeremy Pruitt, that's just the kind of coach he is. When you look at last year, we lost to Georgia State, we lost to BYU, we lost to Florida, and then only after that loss to Florida did he start Brian Maurer. He waited, lost to Georgia State and lost to BYU wasn't enough. The fact that it took that long to trigger a response, he's a conservative coach. He's going to go with experience 99% of the time. That's why I think if they don't get JT Daniels, Jarrett Garantano will be your starting quarterback, like it or not. Pruitt values experience, and I disagree with them, but that's just the way it's going to go.
Thank you, Hoss, for saying that. This has been a great first stream for Carter. He's a peacock captain. You got to let him fly.
I want to ask one more. Obviously, nobody got spring football in this year, but
obviously,
was Harrison Bailey an early enrollee, or was he he missed out on a valuable spring football that would have given him at least, in theory, a better shot. That's the thing. We had 12 early enrollees ourselves at key positions, and so losing spring football sucks.
Yeah,
I hate that so much. That's where you hear all the good news about guys doing well or learning the system. Hey, they're doing great in scrimmages and get to see a spring game. And so
yeah, I agree. And I saw some jackass the other day, and he was. You're gonna love this. He was an Oklahoma State fan, so there you go. But he was like, I'm glad. He's like, I'm glad there wasn't a spring because you know what? Everyone gets hurt during spring, and then you lose them for the season. So I'm okay with this. I'm like, what the hell?
Oklahoma State. That's a special. There's a reason we keep them all the way up there in Stillwater, all isolated and by themselves. So they have Eskimo Joes, and that's about it. And a Barry Sanders Heisman Trophy to keep them warm at night. And even then, Barry Sanders didn't beat OU that year.
I think every school, though. I mean, well, not every school, but just about every Power 5 school has at least one player that was somehow relevant. You know what I'm saying?
Auburn had big Bo. I mean, before Cam, it was Bo Jackson for Auburn.
For us, it was Peyton and Reggie White. And Reggie White and Peyton. Which I would even say this, and most Tennessee fans may not agree, but when someone asks me who is the greatest player from the University of Tennessee, and
Hey,
everything.
man.
I say Reggie White every time.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with that. God, I don't know. There's so many to pick.
Well, yeah, you've had what do you got, about 10 Heismans?
No, we have 7. Come on now.
Oh, well, sorry.
Let's not listen. I would love. We should have double-digit Heismans if a couple years voters didn't lose their mind.
It's rigged.
Totally rigged. Millennials will say Peterson, Adrian Peterson. Baker's a fucking god to a lot of people, including myself. God, it's so tough. Bit old school guys will say Billy Sims.
Yeah, I would say Billy Sims.
It's tough.
I'd say Billy Sims for sure.
But Peterson's gonna wear a gold jacket. So
yeah, Reggie White and Manning on the same level. Okay, yeah. I mean, they're just as big. I'm just saying that.
Peyton's your guy, man. Personal opinions aside, it's people. When people think Tennessee college football, greatest of all time, it's Peyton Manning.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, I just think Reggie White. I mean, people can come in and critique Peyton, for certain things. He didn't win, but only 2 Super Bowls and all that crap. But dude, I don't think there is a thing anyone in his prime, especially in the NFL, that you can ever say bad about Reggie White. I really don't.
My favorite story is when he was on the Eagles, and I think Mike Golick told the story one morning, and they were doing warm-ups, and someone from the stands was trying to get Reggie White's attention. He was going, Reggie! And Reggie White was just ignoring him because he knew it was some drunken fan who got to the vet early. Reggie! Reggie! And then finally Reggie White turns around and goes, what? And then the guy from the stands yells, there is no God!
Oh,
and then Reggie White, knowing how religious he is, he just points and goes, you're going to burn! You're going to burn! I cracked up dying laughing that morning. Listen to that
where
story.
did you? Oh, somebody.
That was on Mike. That was on Mike and Mike one morning.
Okay.
Way back. They told that story the day after, or the day of his passing. So it was kind of they were all sharing Reggie White stories. So good stuff.
BB just said Reggie would kick your ass and pray for you. That's right.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's pretty much 9:00. About
what?
time. Wait, did somebody just come in here?
Keith did, I think.
Okay, yeah, because it's almost time. Yeah, it's time to go, I guess. With it being 9:00, man, I really had a good time tonight. Thank you, General. Thank you, Oni. Thank you, All About the U. Thanks, Pete, and thanks, and especially thank you everybody in the comments for coming and watching and interacting. And I really had a good time, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did.
Carter should be the new host permanently.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe do it some nights that Keith doesn't want to, doesn't do it. I'd love to do this, and we had a steady 40 people in here all night long. So I appreciate everyone from Jerry Wells to I can't name everybody, but you know who you are. All the regulars that we've dealt with, Joe Ryder, Mr. MVPs, NASCAR Vol, everything. Like I said, I appreciate every single person in here, and thank you all so much. And I'll see y'all tomorrow night on here with BVD. And BVD, you want to add anything to that?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well,
you did a good job, bro. Son,
I appreciate it.
Bro, son.
Yeah.
Bro, son. Bro.
Well, y'all have a good one, and we'll talk to y'all later.
You guys want to, Carter, drop your link in the comments. I'm going to let Kuno and General go. Kuno, General, thank you guys for coming in and helping Carter out tonight.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
You're
yeah. So if you guys want to hit Carter up on his channel, let's get him up to 1,000 subs. I've been trying to convince my son for months now. Have I not, Carter, to start doing?
Yeah, you have.
And I think tonight kind of proves that you got the chops, son. Now quit trying to be on everybody else's shit and go do your own thing and fly, Carter, fly, because I know you can.
Well, I appreciate that, Keith.
I'll help you every way I can.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna probably, I'd love to start doing live streams on my channel, and I will. There's no problem there. But I'm gonna also, plug myself real quick, especially on the radio show, the show me and Josh do called Picked Off every Tuesday and Thursday on Volunteer Roadshow. And I'm here every Sunday with BVD on BVD TV. And
Hearing.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, BVD, especially you, for letting me do this on your channel and doing it with you every Sunday nights. The Sunday night streams are probably the favorite thing I do as far as interactions and, doing this kind of thing. So I appreciate it.
Maybe we'll, since we got this coronavirus shit going on and we got a lot more people than usual that are hanging out on YouTube, and looking for things to do.
Yeah.
And me and Carter have talked about this for a long time, taking quote unquote callers on Sunday nights, a pain in the ass because we don't have a way to do it other than using the two phones. And sometimes the StreamYard thing gets jacked up. You saw it tonight when Pete came in.
Yep.
The sound was messed up. I don't know what the deal with that is.
I think it was on his end.
Maybe we'll start doing it. We'll talk about it tomorrow night. Maybe we'll just do StreamYards or we can even do the Zoom thing. I think you can bring other people in on Zoom, but
as far as I know, you can.
Whatever way we'll do it. There's a couple people that I'm frustrated with in the comments, and they've made some comments over the last few weeks about getting a new host for Sunday night. And if that person is still listening, I've said it many times, there will not be another co-host on Sunday, period. Carter's my man. Me and Carter been doing this shit since before anybody else on YouTube. We just didn't pursue it like we probably should have, like he should have. And
yeah. Well, I don't even think we had live streams that that
as
long.
long as we took calls. I mean, we had people on, so
yeah, we did.
Nobody else was doing that.
No, that's right.
So there you go. Long as Carter's alive and long as I haven't killed him, we're still going to do this every Sunday night.
And I look forward to it.
Yep. All right, brother.
All right. Thanks again.
And we'll see you tomorrow night.
I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good night. See you tomorrow night.
See ya.